In the last month, the Twins have surged ahead of the pack in the Central Division race. Their ride to the top has consisted of beating not only their division foes, but the best on each coast. Fresh off a successful Western trip, the Twins return home where their hot play started. The action should be heated again as the rival A's come to town. The Twins face last year's Cy Young Award winner Barry Zito, and it's next on Fox Sports Net. One week ago tonight, Oakland and Minnesota opened up a series in California. They opened this series with identical records in Minnesota. The Twins taking 2 out of 3 from a very good Oakland team last week out on the West Coast. Bert Bylevin taking a week off to spend time with his family in Florida, so we're happy to have Roy Smalley with us in the broadcast booth this week. Roy was actually traded for Bert in the mid-70s. And perhaps his best year for the Minnesota Twins in 1979, went to an all-star game for the Twins, and of course was part of the '87 World Championship team. Good to see you, my friend. We're looking forward to a great week of baseball.
It's always great to watch the Twins, especially here at home. They're an exciting club, and they really got it going on now. Well,
if you watch the Twins so far this year, you know that they've had a very good record against some of the lesser teams in baseball, the Detroits, Tampa Bay's, people like that. But what is particularly encouraging, I think, about the month of May, the Twins have done very well, won series against some other really good ball clubs.
I think, Dick, the only real question with the Twins this year was going to be whether their offense was going to be potent enough and consistent enough, and they're showing now the confidence back. They're swinging the bats well, and when they do that with that pitching and defense, they can play with the best in the game.
Well, you know, they struggled in April against the Yankees and the Royals, so what we've seen so far in the month of May, very encouraging for Twins fans all around the country. Now, this homestand gets started with an interesting matchup, a couple of left-handers on opposite ends of the age spectrum.
We've got Kenny Rogers, the crafty veteran, against the young upcoming star Barry Zito, Cy Young Award winner last year, and it's going to be an interesting matchup between the two of them. Kenny Rogers, the crafty left-hander, has come up with a four-seam fastball to get left-handers out. He's got a lot of left-handers in the lineup against him tonight. He's going to need to spot that straight fastball to go with his sinker and his breaking ball. And then, of course, you've got Barry Zito, who has probably the most dynamic curveball in the game and a very, very sneaky fastball that, because of that curveball, the right-hand hitters just don't seem real comfortable with, swinging a lot of bad high fastballs. It's going to be a great matchup.
Twins had 6 games against Oakland and Seattle last week. They won 4 out of the 6. I think they'd take that again in this homestand, don't you?
They would be absolutely happy with that in this homestand.
Torrey Hunter and the Twins taking on the A's when we come back to the Metrodome in just a moment.
I've been involved. 3-2-1.
Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Pepsi, the joy of Pepsi. By the 4,000 CarQuest Auto Parts stores across North America. You'll find it at CarQuest. And by your local Northland Ford dealer. It has been a month since the Twins have lost a series. And that streak will be challenged here with 2 very good ball clubs coming to town. Oakland for 2 and then Seattle for 4. Here's the Oakland batting order, brought to you by Tires Plus. Eric Burns leading off. Scott Hatteberg, Eric Chavez, Miguel Tejada, Erubiel Durazo, Ramon Hernandez, Mark Ellis, Terrence Long, and Adam Pyatt. And the Grand Casino scouting report on Kenny Rogers, 11-6 against the A's. Of course, he had one of his better years is pitching for the A's a few years ago. And the first pitch over the inside corner, a strike to Eric Burns.
And Dick, I think we'll know right away whether Kenny Rogers is going to be on plan A. We'll see sinkers down and away like that, throwing for strikes right away if he's going to be on his game plan A.
He's had many of his starts this year where his first inning has been his worst inning. Just a tough time settling down and getting into a rhythm early in the ball game.
I think part of that is because he kind of fell in love with the idea of that four-seam fastball that we talked about at the top of the show. His game is really the sinker. He throws it at several different speeds, and it's real tough on right-handers.
Down low, and it's 1-2 to
see that one right there, 81-mile-an-hour sinker. Now he'll throw that at 84, and then he'll throw it at 80 or 81, and he can vary the speed of that, what's ostensibly a fastball that sinks, and it's just not very fast, but it's very tough for right-handers to hit, and that's what he wants to do, much more so than the hard four-seamer.
It's a pop-up behind second base. Rivas retreats and has it for the first out. Twins, for the most part, played very good defense on the road. Here's the Northland Ford defense tonight. Doug Minkiewicz back in the lineup at first. Louis Rivas, Corey Koski, and Christian Guzman. Jock Jones in left, Torrey Hunter in center, and Dustin Moore over in right field with A.J. Pierzynski behind the plate. One down, and here's Scott Hatteberg hitting second for the A's. And strike one.
That was the four-seamer. Not surprising against a left-hander. I think you'll see more of those against left-handers than the sinker, and he'll mix in curveballs and change-ups to the lefties.
There's the outside corner.
And you see the difference in the speed. That one clocked at 89 miles an hour. The sinker 81, 82, 83. That's a big difference in the eyes and mind of a hitter. That's the reason that that Burns popped up the first pitch. Saw three little sinkers and then the sneaky fastball that he was behind.
Breaking ball sweeps wide, and it's 1-2. The A's doing so well early in the season. They've had some offensive struggles this year, especially with the middle of their lineup. 1-2 to Hatteberg, and now 2-2. Rogers, in his start against the A's, was not involved in a decision in Oakland last week. Gave up 3 runs over 6 innings. The Twins came back and won the ball game. 2-2 to Hatteberg. There's a little bouncer foul. In that game, Rogers gave up 9 hits. But it's a little deceiving because all 9 were singles. In 3 different innings, he gave up 3 singles. But in each of those innings, gave up just 1 run.
And that personifies Kenny Rogers. He will battle and battle and battle and find a way to keep you from scoring a lot of runs. He'll be around and give his team a chance to win.
Strikes out Hatteberg, 2 away. And Rogers pitching a little bit better overall in April than he has in May, yet he stands on the mound there with a 4-1 mark.
Again, testimony to his ability to battle, but I can't tell you how much I like the way these first 2 hitters have started out, not because they made outs, but because of the way he has pitched those first 2 hitters with the sinkers to the right-hander and the straight fastball and the curveball to the left-hander. I think that's plan A.
Eric Chavez to hit. He checks his swing. Did he go? No, says third base umpire Mark Wegner. 1-0. Chavez, one of the middle of the lineup guys, struggling offensively in the first 2 months for Oakland. Guzman dives to his right and makes the catch for out number 3. And Kenny Rogers has a 1-2-3 top of the first inning. Well, Twins fans anxious to see how this team does against these West Coast quality teams in this homestand. Here's the Tires Plus batting order for the Twins. Jock Jones leading off, Christian Guzman, Corey Koski, Matthew Lekroy, Torrey Hunter, Doug Minkiewicz. One of the hottest hitters in baseball in the month of May, Dustin Moore hitting 7th, A.J. Pierzynski and Louis Rivas. All getting their second look, a Grand Casino scouting report, of last year's Cy Young Award winner Barry Zito. The 2 earned runs coming on a Torrey Hunter home run. Up and away, ball 1. Jock Jones, 4th in the league in hitting at .343. Some unusual names ahead of him. Hank Blaylock, Michael Young, and Melvin Mora. Now, if we get to the end of September and those 3 hitters are still leading the league in hitting, I'll sell my house and quit. I mean, it's great, isn't it? What the first couple.
They'll all be able to buy it.
Yes, they will. The strike to Jones. It's 1-2. And Jones strikes out. 1 away. The A's defensively not quite as sharp overall as the Twins. In Northland Ford defense. Scott Hatterberg at first. Mark Ellis at second. Eric Chavez, a Gold Glove winner at third. Miguel Tejada, last year's league MVP, at short. Adam Hyatt gets left field. Eric Burns gets center. And Terrence Long in right, with Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. There's Christian Guzman taking ball 1.
Dick, that first at bat by Ja kind of typifies what you have to do with Barry Zito. You got to hit the fastball when you get it, because that curveball is unhittable.
2 hops to Chavez. Over to Hatterberg. 2 quick outs. Oh, to be outdoors tonight watching Major League Baseball, but we're indoors even though the weather's gorgeous. 80 degrees outside, and you never know it inside, but it is clear outside. You were at Metropolitan Stadium, and then you were part of that team in the early 80s that moved in here. How'd you feel about that?
Well, we much preferred to be outside, but it was a great hitter. It is a great hitter's ballpark and a great home field advantage, so it kind of evens out.
Corey Koski with a swing and a miss, 1 strike.
89-mile-an-hour fastball that guys continually are behind, and I think there's a lot of reasons for it. One of the reasons that great curveball's in the back of their mind, but he's real sneaky. He's got a deceptive delivery. We ought to watch that delivery over the course of the game. He kind of hooks the ball behind him and then sneaks at you and throws the ball by you.
6-3 this year. His 2.51 earned run average, very good. Not the best on the team. Mark Mulder's ahead of him. Tim Hudson right behind him. The 3 Oakland starters that you've heard so much about are all in the top 5 in league ERA. Close pitch taken for a ball, and it's 1-2.
I think he's walked a few more people than he normally does, Dick. I think that might be the reason for the ERA, but that 196 batting average against kind of says it all.
2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Oakland's left-handed starting pitcher.
Drug 4, 3, 2, 1. Tonight on Fox Sports Net.
While the cat's away. I think I got set up there. I'm trying to circle somebody, and they won't let me in the truck. Now's your chance to email us. You can go to foxsports.com and enter in keyword Twins Booth and let us know your thoughts on the Twins. And if we like your question or comment, we'll put it on the air. So email it with a chance. If you've ever had a question that you wanted to ask Roy Smalley, this will be your chance. Kenny Rogers pitching to Miguel Tejada. First pitch over for a strike, and so is the second pitch.
You know, the only question they can't ask me, Dick, is how come I didn't play better? We haven't figured that out. You know, I've spent a lot of time. I don't know the answer to that. Don't call in or email.
You're like every other player. The fans asked you that enough when you were playing, right?
Well, you got that right.
2 strikes to Tejada. Just hasn't caught fire yet this year. And we hope he doesn't until
let him sleep for
the
a little while.
A's get out of town. That's right. 1-2.
He will catch fire, and he will have the kind of numbers that are his kind of numbers. He was really, really traumatized, I think, early on in spring training when the A's came out and said they weren't going to re-sign him. I think that really, really set him back. Then he started to hit well in spring training, and they came back out and said, well, maybe we will. And then he went into a funk again. I think he's trying too hard, as a lot of guys do in that situation. But he'll get it rolling again.
Now inside, 2-2. Rogers had a pretty quick top of the first. Don't expect him to walk too many men. He walked a couple in his start against Oakland last time out, and then mixed with the 9 singles. He had to do a lot of damage control over his 6 innings. Snap bat, a little pop up to Rivas for the first out. In fact, the Twins staff, and this probably isn't surprising to fans who've watched, they've issued the fewest walks in the major leagues, 129, and we've almost completed 2 months of the season.
I was talking to pitching coach Rick Anderson before the game. We're looking at Rick and some of his pitchers there as we speak. And I was mentioning to him that when you hitting a Major League Baseball is a hard thing to do. Even the best ones fail 7 out of 10 times. And what teams try to do is get 90 feet at a time, get guys around the bases. And it's hard to do when you have to do it getting a hit every time up in every inning. What the Twins do not do is put guys on base either via walk or errors, not making the plays, and they make spectacular plays to get their pitchers out of tough innings. So they've got a lot of things going for them when they take the field defensively and on the mound.
Now it sounds so simple. I mean, you catch the ball when you're supposed to catch it, throw it where you're supposed to throw it. You don't issue walks, you throw it over the plate, and you should win. But why does a team like the Twins seem to stand out, at least in their own division? They're clearly the best in those fundamentals in the 5 teams in the Central. You got a young pitcher like Kyle Loesch, and he's around the plate all the time.
Well, I think that is the remarkable thing, and their ability not to walk people. You get this group of talented defensive players, and that's where it starts. These guys are all really good in both catching the routine ball and making spectacular plays. They're just great defensive players, and Doug Mankiewicz and Corey Koski being 2 of the best at their position. That gives the pitching staff an awful lot of confidence to throw the ball over and make somebody hit it.
2 strikes to DeRozzo, and it's a ball.
When you're trying to strike somebody out, or as a pitcher, when you're afraid that someone might hit the ball, and not because you think your guys can't catch it, but because your demeanor is one that I got to strike everybody out, it makes it very difficult. You get a lot of more 3-ball counts, 3-1, 3-2, trying to make the perfect pitch. These pitchers have to learn, and I think they are learning. They've all got good stuff. Throw it over there and make somebody hit it.
A liner to center.
Every once in a while, that'll happen.
First hit of the ball game goes to Rubiel DeRozzo.
And here's a fastball he got in the middle of the plate. Kenny doesn't want to throw this ball belt high. That ball will be hit by major league hitters more times than not. But if he keeps throwing his quality stuff down there, sinking it and curving it, doing things that he does and doesn't walk people, that Twins will catch enough balls for them to be in the ball.
And that'll bring up Ramon Hernandez.
It's interesting, Dick, the way the Twins outfield has played these hitters. I've noticed early on also.
Swing and a miss, 1 strike.
Torrey Hunter's played every right-hand hitter to the right side of straightaway center field. That will tell you 2 things. One or both of 2 things is going to happen. They've either decided that the Oakland right-hand hitters hit the ball to the opposite field a lot, or it'll tell you where Kenny Rogers' primary goal is to where he's going to pitch the ball, which is away. And I think that's what we're seeing so far in the game. We're going to pitch him away and play him away.
Lifted over the Oakland dugout, and Rogers, as he's done all night long so far, has gotten ahead of a hitter with 2 quick strikes. Rogers with just 1 win in the month. It was in his first start this month. He's had 3 straight no decisions, with each start going at least 6 innings. And over those 4 May starts, a total of 6 walks. 0-2 to Hernandez. Got off to a good start at the plate, cooling off somewhat as we wind up the 2nd month of the season. See how many they get here. Rivas to Guzman. Double play. So Rogers gives up the hit, gets the ground ball, double play. He still faced just 6 men through 2 innings. Dick Bramer and Roy Smalley sitting in for Bert Blyleven this week on Fox Sports Net. Opening game of what should be a very good 6-game homestand. At least entertaining. You don't know, of course, whether the Twins are going to go 4-2, 2-4, but when you see baseball being played by 2 very good teams, it's very, very entertaining.
Great point, Dick. This is going to be great baseball for 6 straight games, and these games with Oakland, it is characterized in the Twins dugout as a war.
Yeah.
It just is a war.
Here's Matthew LeCroy. Was wounded during the last road trip.
I guess he was.
Had a bad knee that flared up on him, but he has recovered nicely.
Not to mention getting hit in the nose with a pitch.
Yeah. Off the handle of the bat, Hernandez with the catch, 1 away. So 1 down on the 2nd, and that'll bring up Torrey Hunter.
Another example of a pretty good fastball hitter not being able to get to an 88, 89 mile an hour fastball, and it just happens time and again. And part of it, I think, is the curveball and that great, what we used to call a screaming yellow hammer. It would drop like Bert Blyleven had, drop 3 feet. But the other part of it is, I think his delivery is just sneaky, and he gives you enough fastballs to hit. There it is again. I think the only way the Twins are going to hit this guy is to be ready for that pitch right there and just get after him. Just forget about the curveball for a while and get after that fastball. Figure out a way to catch up to him.
About the only mistake Zito made in his start against the Twins last week was a changeup down and into Torrey Hunter. Torrey cracked it over the fence, and afterwards Ken Maka was saying, why did we throw a changeup to Torrey Hunter? There's a fastball that covers the inside corner, 1-2.
Yeah, and I feel for Ken Maka, because as a manager you sit there and you say they can't hit your curveball if you throw it over, and they're not catching up with your fastball. So why throw them anything else?
High fastball.
The changeup turns out to be the one speed they can catch up with, and so it is puzzling. I bet a lot of money that Barry Zito won't be throwing a lot of changeups to right-hand hitters today until they prove they can hit the fastball.
1-2 to Hunter. Just off the corner, 2-2. It's been a gradual rise for Torrey Hunter from the 2-teens through the 220s, through the 230s, now in the mid 240s in terms of batting average. There's the curve, and he got a piece of it. I mean, this is a curve that looks like, as you're standing in the box, it starts above your eyes and ends up below your knees.
It's the toughest kind of pitch to hit as a big league hitter, because the ball comes outside your frame of reference, your eye frame of reference. It goes up and way up there. Now, when that ball goes up there, Dick, I tell you, you think that ball's going to the screen, and then all of a sudden it's dropping down when the catcher's catching it.
Missed very high. Now the count full to Hunter. Popped up a foul ball that should reach the seats. Hernandez has no idea where it is. And you'll see that more than from time to time, almost on a regular basis. An opposing team coming in here, and the catcher just, at least early in the series, has no idea where the foul balls go. Another 3-2 coming to Torrey Hunter. Walked him. Good plate appearance for Hunter. He's the first Twins base runner. Tomorrow, the WNBA takes center stage as the Minnesota Lynx battle Lisa Leslie and the two-time defending champion Los Angeles Sparks, going for a three-peat this year. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 on Fox Sports Net. Here's Doug Minkiewicz, and he too a little crippled. Didn't even make it to Oakland for the series in Oakland. Stayed home nursing a high ankle sprain. This is his first start in a week, and he takes outside, ball 1.
Doug's been in a lot of pain. He told me it just is a good thing they didn't have him go to Oakland. Just the plane ride home from Seattle, his ankle swelled up.
Thought about that, yeah.
I hadn't either. But plane rides will do that to him. He's hobbling a bit.
And so you miss a week, you get one at bat, then they throw you in there against Barry Zito.
Why not?
It's 2-0.
Get in there and earn your money. That's tough duty right there. You'd be the first guy back.
And Hunter checked at first base.
In watching Zito pitch, that you wonder how he gets away with so many high fastballs that aren't 90 miles an hour. But the truth is, it's an effective pitch to go with that curveball, because they all come out high, and it's on the same vision level, and it's hard to identify right away if that's the one that's going to stay straight or if that's the one that's going to have the bottom drop out of it. It's an effective way to pitch if you can get away with it.
2-0 to Minkiewicz. There's a strike. Well, you had to hit against Bert and some of the other great curveball artists. How many times when you went up there did you just simply guess on one pitch and wait until you got it.
Well, my philosophy was swing hard in case you hit it.
Yeah.
But you know, Bert was really tough. It was easier for me because guys like Bert made me a switch hitter early in my youth. You know, because I didn't want to see that curveball from the same side of the plate as the pitcher's arm.
And the outside corner to even the count.
But there were lots of guys who had really knee-buckling curveballs. Bert was one of them. Frank Tanana, before he hurt his arm. Of course, one of the toughest. Nobody realized that Nolan Ryan throw 98 miles an hour and have a curveball kind of like Zito. I mean, he had a nasty curveball. So there were guys that make you have some funny at bats.
There's a breaking ball and a swing and a miss for out number 2.
There's a breaking ball that cannot be hit. This ball starts out of his hand, looking like it's going to come at Doug's shoulder. There it is up there, and then it's a 3-foot move. That's a hard curveball. That's a curveball that Bert would be proud of.
So here's Dustin Moore.
And once again, it's the fastball you got to get. You can't get yourself to 2 strikes and have to hit that.
Moore has found himself in the lineup on an everyday basis. Twins right behind the Red Sox in terms of highest team batting average and the Dodge Power performers. Remember that the Twins beat the Red Sox 4 times in 6 games earlier in the month of May.
They look an awful lot more comfortable at the plate these last 4 or 5 weeks, Dick. They look like everybody was tight and coming out of spring training. I think there were high expectations, everybody trying awfully hard, Torrey Hunter being kind of the leader of that group. If he gets that pitch, it gets tougher from here. Because that ball outside, you can't start to swing at that ball. There's no way out there. I don't believe that got all the way back to the corner, but it's amazing how much it breaks.
Up and in, and it's 1-2.
I think Torrey was kind of epitomized the group early in the season. You know, everything looked like everything needed to be a 6-run home run to left. Right. You know, whether there was somebody on or not, and I think they've settled into a nice confident rhythm now.
Well, it surely helps Torrey as he tries to bring his batting average up to have people around him like Dustin Moore, Matthew LeCroy hitting successfully, so he doesn't feel all the pressure in the world to be the guy to hit the 3-run home run.
I think everybody kind of was feeling like they had the guy-itis.
Hunter goes, and the throw in time to get him. Torrey thrown out for the 6th time this year. The Twins get the walk, and Zito faces just 3 men in the inning.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Ordinarily, I don't get a chance to do this, and my circling will get better as the week wears along, but with Bert Blyleman down in Florida, this is my chance.
Hey, you know what? Don't even think about it.
I did. Are you
don't
on the...
even think
did
about it.
you just see what I did? I circled.
You're going to get your finger broken. When I come back, I'm going to break your finger.
Hey, how's this guy doing over here?
He's doing a great job. How are you, Dick? Roy, how you doing? Great job so far.
Well, thanks, Bert. I'm plugging your curveball every chance I get.
Well, you guys sound great.
By the time I'm done, I'll have you in the hall.
Well, thank you.
Well, he's been
and leave my circle machine alone, Dick.
Hey, Bert, can I circle somebody?
You sure can.
Thank you.
Don't let Dick circle anybody, Roy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Well,
good luck, guys.
Thanks, Bert. Talk to you soon. Ms. Lou Paul is our entrant in the Briggs & Stratton Mound down inning. If Kenny Rogers strikes out the A's 3 up 3 down, she'll go to the All-Star game in Chicago on July 15th. And here I thought, while he was away, there wouldn't be any problem with me circling people. But he's a little possessive about his little toy here. 2-1 now for Mark Ellis. First time that Rogers, I think, has fallen behind a hitter.
Did I hear him say he was going to break your finger?
Oh yeah, he's threatened it many times.
You know what some of the guys on the '87 Twins team would have said to Bert if they wanted to break his finger, they'd just have to punch him in the nose.
Oh, is that right? A 3-1 pitch.
I hope he's still listening.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Okay.
AJ with a basket catch for the first out. One away in the third. Tomorrow's another Hormel $1 a dog game. The Twins play an afternoon game against Oakland. Every Wednesday, Hormel hot dogs are a measly $1 a piece. Limit 2 per customer. Hormel $1 a dog nights are presented by Country Hearth Bakeries. And now you can get your tickets by calling 800-33-TWINS. Here's Terrence Long with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Doesn't make you nervous, does it, that Bert's listening in Florida?
No, as long as he stays in Florida. I mean, you know, the problem with Bert listening is that, you know, if we say something he doesn't like, there's no telling the payback. There's liable to happen.
I know.
You know, I mean, I was around that too long.
1 strike to Terrence Long. And Minkiewicz gets the first hop and trots to the bag. 2 away. So far, a much better first time through the batting order for Kenny Rogers. 8 outs from 8 hitters, and now he'll face Adam Pyatt. Pyatt with a chance to play against a left-hander when the A's face a left-handed starting pitcher. Pyatt typically gets left field, and Eric Burns moves out to center, and Chris Singleton gets a seat on the bench.
And I'm not sure you gain an awful lot against this particular lefty throwing the right-hander in there, Dick. With Kenny Rogers going with the sinker ball routine. That pitch right there, and there, you know, there was the 84-mile-an-hour one as opposed to the 81 that we saw to somebody else. I think the statistics will bear it out. I think left-handers hit pretty well against Kenny.
Well, there's a right-hander with a sharp 2-out single to left. But yes, you're right. Left-handers are hitting .295 against Rogers. Right-handers hitting .302. So that underscores your point. A 2-out single for Pyatt. And now Eric Burns will hit. The A's in an interesting road trip. It's a long one, about 2 weeks long. 4 cities. They play here in Minnesota, then they go to Kansas City, and then they end the road trip in Philadelphia. So on this road trip, they'll be going where they used to be. We used to call
in all of their iterations.
In all their different mutations.
That's right.
They used to be the Kansas City A's, and before that, the Philadelphia A's. So at least in terms of from a historical perspective, it should be an interesting road trip. 1 strike.
Connie Mack in the Philadelphia.
In fact, they got a promotion in Philadelphia in a week and a half where they're going to hand out, I think, straw hats to the first 10,000 fans. Connie Mack used to wear the suit and tie in the dugout and wear the straw hat when he managed and owned the Philadelphia A's. 1 strike from Rogers to Burns. Burns with a little pop-up behind second base, gathered in by Louis Rivas.
It's a good-looking young player right here, Dick.
Getting a chance because Jermaine Dye is hurt, recovering from a knee injury, and there's some sort of dilemma, I guess, with Oakland. What do they do when Jermaine Dye comes back? This man's hit .350 since being inserted in the lineup. You have to like his chances of staying in the lineup. Someplace.
I think he's earned a shot to be in that 3rd outfield position someplace.
2 strikes to Eric Burns. Just off the corner. Ooh. Burns in the leadoff spot. Kind of doing what David Eckstein did for the Angels last year. They say he's a catalyst. He has so much energy and enthusiasm. It tends to rub off on some of the other Oakland players who've been around for a while. It's kind of what Eckstein did for the Angels last year.
Well, I'll tell you this: if you can be a leadoff hitter and have that, be that kind of catalyst, and you're also 6'3" and 220 or whatever he is, that now you got something. He's a strong young man.
Blocked by Pierzynski, but Pyatt got a good read and advances. Yeah, physically they don't bear any resemblance to one another, but in terms of the energy they provide at the top of the order.
What's amazing to me today, Dick, I was out early today. The A's were here taking extra early batting practice at 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon, and all of them standing around in t-shirts, and all of them are gigantic. I mean, all the kids now, they lift weights and they're strong. It's really impressive. They hit the ball hard and far.
2-2 to Burns with a runner in scoring position, an awkward swing and a strike. Well, I remember growing up in Minnesota, and you could bet that when the Twins were on TV on the game of the week, more often than not, a point was always made about Harmon Killebrew's biceps and how they were 19 inches around or something like that.
Ted Kluszewski and those guys. Yep.
But I mean, the Kluszewskis and the Killebrews who stood out back then would almost be dwarfed by some of the physiques you see in baseball now. 2-2 to Burns, just off the corner. First base is open, and a left-hand hitter, Hatteberg's on deck.
I think this is the guy that Kenny Rogers wants, though. I know first base is open and the left-hander up. Hatteberg has actually hit reasonably well against Rogers. I think he's in a real good spot here, 3-2, to throw him something nasty on the outside part of the plate. If he walks him, it's okay, but I would be surprised if he gets a ball in the middle of the plate.
Oakland trying to put together a 2-out threat here in the third. Long look into Pierzynski, and now Burns has had enough.
Speaking of the strength of the players today, I heard an amazing statistic standing around the batting cage too. I was talking to Scotty Aldry, the Twins hitting instructor, and Scotty said that before 1995, up through 95, there were 18 players that hit more than 50 home runs, and since 95 there have been 18.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me.
3-2 to Eric Burns. Struck him out. A big breaking ball. Not as big as Barry Zito's, but just as effective. A big strikeout to end the third. Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. By Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Bigger, better, more tropical than ever. And by Jeep. See your local Jeep dealer. Hey, hey, hey.
How'd he know?
My goodness. Well, if I'm asked to circle, I'm going to do my level best to circle.
Do they come equipped with poster board and markers and listen to the game to see what they're going to write?
Dustin Moore fouls it to the screen, 1 strike. Moore was at the plate when Torrey Hunter was thrown out trying to steal to end the second inning. It'll be Moore, Pierzynski, and Rivas here in the Twins' third. And he drops a curve over for strike 2. So you're Dustin Moore, you're at the plate with 2 strikes in the bottom of the second inning, and so they decide to send a runner, and he's thrown out. You start the next inning with a fresh count, and then right away it's 2 strikes, quickly 3 strikes, and Zito gets his strikeout nevertheless. Twins facing Zito for the second time already in the month of May. Typically they've done okay against him.
They hit him pretty well, and I think that they have been on the fastball better. I think they've gotten the curveball out of their minds. Tonight, for whatever reason, they're not doing that. I'd look for them to really try to get more and more in that fastball.
Zito's faced 7 hitters. He struck out 4 of them, and here's A.J. Pierzynski. Down and in, ball 1.
You just can't let Zito get you deep in the count. You know, to hit behind against him is a losing proposition. You need to jump on him early in the count.
A roller to second. Ellis has it to Hatteberg, 2 away. This is an important day, or at least it was last year in Twins history. On May 27th last year, the Twins moved into first place for good. They were never off the top spot in the American League Central after May 27th. This year, they moved into first place in their current stretch on May 18th. And we hope it's for good. And there's another corner called for Barry Zito, 1 strike. Facing Louis Rivas. 1-1. You see Zito working quickly, gets the ball, sets himself, looks in for the sign, and Bert talks about it from the pitcher's standpoint, but from a shortstop's standpoint, how important is that to get a quick worker out there?
It's so much fun, and you see so many more really, really great plays made behind pitchers that work fast than the other way around.
3-1.
Here's an opportunity right here at a 3-1. A pretty good idea that fastball's coming, or he should have it in his mind, and he should be out in front of this ball. He should be ready to jump all over this fastball.
Fouled it back. It's 3-2.
Pretty good hack right there. Just a really tough pitch. 3-1 pitch on the outside corner. He's a great pitcher. Made a great pitch. But if I'm Louis Rivas, I'd be on that fastball again. I can't hit his curveball. Throw me another fastball. We'll see if I can hit it.
And he draws a walk. Second walk issued by Zito. This one with 2 outs in the inning. The Twins and Mariners hook up later this week in a series presented by Dodge and your local Dodge dealers. On Friday, the first 10,000 fans 18 and older get a Dodge Brad Ratke the Fisherman fishing lure presented by Rapala. You can mix fishing and baseball. You get your tickets tonight by calling 800-33-TWINS. Jacques Jones, the hitter. He went down swinging his first time up. Breaking ball missing. Jacques hitting .380 here at the Metrodome this year. And Hernandez comes out to talk to Zito. Twins will face John Halama, another left-handed pitcher, tomorrow. Kansas City getting thumped early at Kauffman Stadium by Seattle. 6 runs in the second inning. Kansas City, Minnesota's closest pursuer, but looks like the bottom is fallen out of their season, at least for the time being. They're in a free fall. Some heartbreaking losses, including one on Sunday to these Oakland A's. There's a strike, 1-1.
That's too high. It's a big sharp breaker, but he's getting a lot of help right now from behind the catcher.
Fastball fouled back, 1-2.
And you see Jock kind of disgusted with himself there. He got the fastball and didn't hit it, and that's really been the issue so far. It's going to be tough for them to be on that curveball, but I don't want to beat that in the ground. But it really surprises me. It's a testimony to Zito's craftiness that he's throwing fastballs by these guys.
Sharply hit on a couple of hops to Ellis, and the inning's over. A walk. A man left aboard, no score. You're watching Twins baseball. Fox Sports Net, your home for the Minnesota Twins.
Claymatic back here at the Metrodome, and Twins Director of Communications Brad Ryder is here, and there's 6 weeks of all-star voting left, and the first indication of how that's going came out today, Brad, and what do we find?
Well, Torrey Hunter is ranked 6th among American League outfielders right now, and Jack Jones, who is 3rd in the league in hitting, isn't even in the top 15. So if Twins fans will remember last year, they had a huge part in Torrey Hunter being voted onto the All-Star team, and consequently he was able to make that home run saving catch of Barry Bonds in the first inning, and Twins fans could take a lot of pride in that.
Well, what can Twins fans do to kind of turn that around?
Well, they can go online to twinsbaseball.com, and they can vote up to 25 times online per visit. So if they go online, I've done it myself. To vote 25 times, it only takes maybe 3 minutes at the most. So it goes really quickly. Of course, when they come out to the ballpark, they can vote here once at the ballpark. But you can go online and vote 25 times at once. So we really encourage our fans to go online, not only vote for Jack Jones and Torrey Hunter, but also the other Twins who are deserving of being in the All-Star game.
There you go, Roy and Dick. Let's flood that ballot box.
I like the write-in vote there. That was pretty good. And what kind of a country is this now? You can only vote 25 times online. What have we become?
I don't know. But I understand it's 50 in Chicago.
Eric Chavez with a 1-0 count. You saw Scott Hatterberg foul out on the first pitch to Doug Minkiewicz. And a strike, 1-1.
I should say it's 50 times, and they swear it's only 25.
Right. Well, you were kind of an oddity because in 1979 you had the great, well, at least in one year you were. You had the great first half in 1979. And not only did you make the All-Star team, but you were voted on back in 1979.
I think there were only 3 of us up until Kirby. I think there were only 3 Twins that were ever voted on. It was Harmon and Rodney and me in '79 until Puck did.
2-2.
Not that other people weren't very, very deserving to be voted in, but to your point, it's hard out of here to get enough fan votes to get voted in.
Well, there are some major corrections that need to be made if the balloting is going to reflect first half excellence. Check swing. No, it's 3-2 to Chavez. Starting at first base, Jason Giambi right now with a big lead over Carlos Delgado. And Giambi's hitting .207, and Delgado's already got 51 runs batted in.
You can't. It's impossible to have 51 runs batted in before June.
51 RBIs in 52 games.
It's not possible. That man can rake.
3-2 to Chavez. And a little pop up. Guzman retreats. Hey, for a sinker ball pitcher, he's getting a lot of little pop ups that are effectively getting outs. 2 down in the 4th. Let's go to our Aflac trivia question. Aflac! Now let's see if Bert knows the answer. Wouldn't that be great? He's not even here. He probably has the answer to this one. Name the last 3 American League left-handers to win the Cy Young.
I guarantee you Bert would know the answer to this.
So we know that Barry Zito is one of them, since he won it last year. Here's Miguel Tejada. Driven to center. Hunter makes the catch. Well hit ball, but a 3-up, 3-down top of the 4th for Rogers. Well, you're here in Bert's absence, so you give this a shot. They asked Bert to circle them from International Fall, so give it a shot. See what happens.
The whole gang.
Yeah, pretty good.
The whole gang. Way to go, gang. That's for Bert.
80-some degrees here, and we hope almost as nice up at the Falls. So the Twins hit here in the 4th. Christian Guzman leads it off, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. As an aside, Mike Fetters, relief pitcher for the Twins, had an MRI today because he's had some elbow problems, and they've just announced that the news is encouraging for Mike. He has a right medial muscle strain, no structural damage. They're going to shut him down for a week and then begin the throwing program in about 7 days. It's been a very frustrating first 2 months for the Twins, with the Twins, for Mike Fetters. First a repetitive hamstring problem, now some elbow concerns. 1-2 to Guzman, and now 2-2. Guzman with a bouncer to short his first time up. He'll be followed by Corey Koski and Matthew Lecroy. Now we've seen Zito walk a couple. He's run some deep counts so far tonight. Nothing in the way of a hit yet for the Twins. And an off-speed pitch, a swing and a miss. 1 away. Let's go to our Aflac trivia question. Zito, the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League. The question is, who were the prior 2? Get a look at strike 3 here. That's a changeup he doesn't want to throw Torrey Hunter, right?
Exactly right. Great pitch.
1 away in the 4th. Here's Corey Koski, caught looking his first time up. At the knees, a strike. Five strikeouts so far for Zito. Corey's had pretty good luck against Zito. 6 hits and 15 at bats. There's the outside corner. Hasn't thrown much down the middle of the plate tonight, has he?
No, he really hasn't. I was just going to say that he's struggled a little bit with the strike zone at occasion, but then comes back and makes really, really great pitches around the outskirts, the perimeter of the strike zone, not in the middle. But that changeup to Guzman, a great example. I mean, he had me struck out from here. I figured he'd have to throw a fastball to Guzzi there leading off the inning, and of all things, come back with a changeup. And it wasn't just a changeup just to be a strike. It was down at the knees, and it was a great pitch.
And now 2-2 to Koski. I thought on the road trip, and I know you spent some time watching the games and you follow the team pretty closely, but I thought on the just completed road trip, the Twins had maybe the most patient, consistently patient approach at the plate as I've seen them have in a long time. Deep to right, and this is gone.
There's no doubt about that one.
Into the upper deck. And the Twins take the first lead.
Corey Koski was looking for a fastball for 5 pitches, and he finally got one in the middle of the plate on the 5th pitch that at bat. Took curveballs, took fastballs outside. Finally got the one he's been looking for that for, I shouldn't say 5, 8 pitches. Middle of the plate. See ya.
For Koski, home run to number 7. And the Twins lead it 1-0. Here's Matthew Lecroy. And he takes inside, ball 1.
You're absolutely right about your patience thought, Dick. I think they have been very relaxed and very patient here these last 3-4 weeks.
All back, 1 strike.
I think it could be working against them just a little bit here against Barry Zito. And he'd be the only guy that I would say that about. But I think they need to be a little impatient. Just go ahead and get on that fastball and have some hacks at it. Like
Swing
that.
and a foul, 1-2.
Let her go.
But yeah, you just talked about Koski waiting, and finally, I mean, on the 5th pitch of the at bat, he finally found something he could
Well,
do.
yeah, I mean, the guy's a Cy Young Award winner. He doesn't, when he throws a fastball, it's not in the middle of the plate all the time. He's made some great pitches.
Comes back to strike out Lecroy, out number 2. Now let's go back to our Aflac trivia question regarding left-handed Cy Young Award winners in the American League. I'll give you a shot on this one because you came up with 2 names that seem to fill the blanks.
I've been away from it for a while, but the guys that come to mind besides Zito are Randy Johnson and maybe Frankie Viola back in 88.
There you go.
Well, how
Very
about that?
Nice. Very nice. Little pop-up short center. Ellis retreats and makes the catch. But Corey Koski with a long home run to the upper deck, and the Twins have a 1-0 lead. Inside the Metrodome, yeah, I'll try to do it. Thank you. From Cloquet, beautiful. Cloquet. This is fun. This is fun.
Watch out for those broken fingers.
Along with Clay Matvick and Roy Smalley sitting in for Bert Blyleven, who's probably sitting poolside in Florida watching Twins baseball. Erubiel Durazo facing Kenny Rogers. Durazo with a 1-out single in the 2nd, but then Rogers got a double play ball. Ball 1.
Nice to see this young player get a chance to play here in the American League. Wasn't slated to start over in the National League with the Diamondbacks, but he can really hit.
And can walk. He fits the Oakland mold where they preach patience and drawing walks, working counts, even in their minor league system. They stress something that not many organizations do. What they are looking for from their minor league players is 1 walk per 10 at bats. In other words, if you get 450 at bats in the minor leagues, they want you, before they will move you up, they want you to have enough command of the strike zone to have like 45 walks. And I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, that's minor league hitters want to be aggressive because they want to put up numbers to get to the major leagues.
Well, I like it a lot, actually, Dick, for this reason. At least it is an edict that comes down from on high where the young players who want to get to the big leagues say, okay, I mean, if this is what you tell me I've got to do to get there, then that's what I'll do. It'd be different if they wouldn't back it up. If they'd say, you know, we want you to we want you to draw some walks, but then say, well, we're not calling you up because you didn't, you didn't,
you didn't hit enough.
I mean, which has been done before too.
There's an inside corner called for Rogers, and Durazo's out, one away.
I love this time at bat. If you remember the first time Durazo's up, Kenny threw the four-seamer, the straight fastball, the 88-mile-an-hour one in the middle of the plate, and he got a base hit. He threw in 4 straight pitches right there, the 82-mile-an-hour sinker down and in. He threw him 4 in a row. 1 missed the plate and 3 got it. Those are just good pitches. Rubiel.
1 down, and Ramon Hernandez will hit. Hernandez hasn't quite taken that patient approach to the plate. Hasn't drawn that many walks, but the A's don't mind because he now offensively is rounding into form. A very good minor league hitter, and now he's starting to hit at the major league level. Up and away, 1-1.
Well, I just applaud having a system, if you will, or an approach that's systemic. That goes through the whole organization. It just makes sense, and it has not been the case that it certainly wasn't the case that I saw when I was in the game, a few years back. It just makes perfect sense to me that you would try to establish the kind of ball club and the kind of players that you want at the major league level, and then just teach that all the way down through the system.
1-2 from Rogers to Hernandez. Breaking ball tapped off the plate, foul. Still 1-2.
It's hard to learn to hit at the major league level. I mean, it's hard hitting at the major league level, much less getting up here because you hit minor league pitching and then having to make huge adjustments. Here was a good minor league hitter who it probably has a lot to do with fitting into the system of having a system-wide approach. He first played against Kenny Maka in the Eastern League in 1974.
Is that right?
You bet.
2-2 in his first year managing the A's. He was their bench coach for a number of years. Art Howe didn't quite see eye to eye with some of the people in Oakland, and most notably their general manager, and so now he's trying to keep from jumping overboard with the New York Mets. A little pop-up left side. Another routine little pop-up. Guzman with the catch, 2 away.
Dick, critics are calling the best damn sports show period a 2-hour frat party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. Former NBA player Mitch Richmond and an NBA round table, the best sports show period tonight. And I didn't say damn because I can only say it once. Tonight at 11 o'clock only on Fox Sports Net.
2 down in the 5th. Here's Mark Ellis. And there's ball 1. Ellis has made a footnote in Twins history with some late inning home runs, most notably in the playoffs last year in Game 5, and then in the final game of the 3-game series last Thursday. So it's nice to see him hitting early in the middle of the game with the Twins in front. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Wasn't that a dramatic home run he hit last year in the playoffs? My goodness, it made everybody sick to their stomachs.
I didn't care for it much at all, to be honest with you. There was enough drama in that game for me before he came to the plate.
This young fellow, speaking about learning to play in the big leagues, he hasn't been in the big leagues a year yet. He hasn't had a full year. He came up June the 1st or 20th or something like that last year. I was talking to him. I just met him. He was a polite young man from South Dakota, came over and called me Mr. Smalley. You got to love that.
It's one thing about having your hair turned gray.
Well, that was the other thing I was thinking. I didn't know if it was out of respect of this because he recognized that I was an old guy. I don't know.
To center. Looks playable for Hunter. Kenny Rogers has set down 7 in a row. He's gotten the Twins off the field quickly again here in the 5th. Well, more people from International Falls want to be.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do the honors. Sorry, Bert. Oh, no, Bert said I could do it.
No, I'm the one that's going to be in trouble.
You guys are going to be in a finger-breaking war.
Here's Doug Minkiewicz. Just off the corner, ball 1. Minkiewicz went down swinging his first time up. It's almost an embarrassment of riches for the Oakland A's to have Mark Mulder, Barry Zito, and Tim Hudson in the same staff, because they are 3 of the top 5 pitchers in the American League, which is why pop up behind first. Hatterberg and Ellis are both there, and it's the second baseman making the catch. 1 down. Tomorrow afternoon, another senior day presented by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Fans 55 and older can get $5 discounts on lower reserve tickets purchased day of the game. Tomorrow's also another Twingo Day presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. It's a fun way to watch a game, and you could win pizza for a year. Call 833-TWINS for more details. I promised an answer to this. I don't know if that means 1 pizza a night for 365 days, because I think on our house we could do that, or if it's a pizza a week, a pizza a month. We gotta find out what exactly the prize is there. Here's Dustin Moore, and there's a ball, 1-1. But we were talking about the great starting pitching for Oakland. The other starters, John Halama, who will go tomorrow, and Ted Lilly, and he's pretty good too. Here's a pop up near second base, to the point where the A's hardly miss Corey Lytle, who's emerged as one of the biggest game pitchers for the resurgent Toronto Blue Jays. Lytle, who pitched for Oakland last year, has won 7 in a row. 2 down in the 5th, and here's A.J. Pierzynski. And here's one guy you gotta, when you come to the Dome, or you want to go online and vote for the All-Star team, you got to vote for A.J. because he and Jock Jones are the 2 who probably among position players deserve to be higher in the balloting than they are. A.J. the only Twin player in the top 5 in balloting, and he's 4th behind Sandy Alomar, who's only playing about twice a week for the White Sox. 3 up, 3 down in the 5th. We go to the 6th. Twins up 1-0.
Inside, you're watching Fox Sports Net.
Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Chrysler. See your local Chrysler dealer. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards. From Minneapolis on Fox Sports Net, I get to circle somebody else. Have you noticed my circling is a little bit better? By Sunday afternoon, I'm not sure what that was.
What was that little
I don't
jog
know what that was. Kenny Rogers pitching a masterful ball game. He's faced just one man over the minimum through 5 innings. He's given up 2 hits, no walks. Pitching with a 1-0 lead, Terrence Long will lead off the 6th. Long with a ground ball to Doug Minkiewicz, his first time up. Here's our carsoup.com email question. Ron Mobridge, or is that Ron from Mobridge, South Dakota?
I was going to say, isn't there a Mobridge in something?
At any rate, the question is, who, Roy, is the best bunter you've ever seen? Here's a pop-up behind third. A foul ball catch for Corey Koski.
That's a tough question and a good one. You don't think about bunters too much. It's kind of a lost art, bunting for base hit. There's 2 kinds of bunting, sacrifice bunting, which is in itself against tough major league pitching not an easy thing to do all the time, and then bunting for hits. I'm going to assume that Mr. Mobridge wants to know about bunting for hits, and I think probably Rod Carew was the best I ever saw. He was a master, absolute master at it. He got a whole bunch of hits that way, even when guys were expecting it, and in on the grass.
This is a taller pop-up. Hits something. Koski trying to stay with it. Same spot he made the other catch at. 2 quick outs here in the 6th. Well, here he was, the master.
Oh, is that beautiful? Golly, that's fun. That is really fun. The best I ever saw.
I talked with Rod once about, because he was so good, about bunting on artificial turf. He never played home games here. He was long gone with the Angels before the Twins moved in here in '82. And he said he he didn't think it would be a detriment at all pitching an artificial turf, because the third baseman would have to play back maybe just a little bit because of the quick surface. And I mean, he could bunt. This is how good he was. He could bunt with backspin.
Well, but if you saw what those bunts, those 2 bunts that have, and how about our guys in the truck, how quickly they found those flashbacks. That's true. They didn't know what I was going to say, but I think that's pretty cool, that those shots that they showed, because they showed him killing the ball on the end. When I say killing, deadening the ball on the end of the bat, and he'd bunt the ball right off the end of the bat, and it would deaden the effect of the pitch, so that by the time it would come off the bat, hit the dirt, and just start slowing down. So to your point, there's dirt, around, in front of the artificial turf. By the time we got to the turf, with the guy playing back at third because of the artificial turf, I don't think it would have made a difference to Rodney either. I agree with you.
1-2. Eric Burns. Boys, Kenny Rogers on a roll. Hunter coming in, and he plays it on a hop and almost jumped over him. Another 2-out hit for the A's. Third single in all. 2 of them have come with 2 out in an inning. And Rogers' string of 9 straight hitters retired comes to an end.
The first baseman. Ball up in the middle of the zone a little bit. Burns didn't hit it very well. Just kind of a C&I flare out there. It's funny how much ball position in the strike zone has to do with guys getting hits. If that ball had been down a little bit more or up a little bit higher, it probably ends up being an out. That was just at the right middle of the plate spot for him to muscle it out into center field.
Here's Hatteberg taking high, ball 1.
That's the other thing that pitchers that people don't think about a lot, Dick. You say stay out of the middle of the zone. Most of the time it's because that's where guys hit the ball the hardest. If the ball's in the middle of the zone, they can hit it hard. But also if you're up like that in that part of the zone, even if you jam somebody, you got a chance to fist it over the infield. Where if you jam somebody with something down or throw something down in the end of something, then it's very, very difficult to get any part of the bat on the ball where you can muscle up the outfield. So you want to stay away from the middle of the zone for a whole lot of reasons.
Breaking ball over, and it's 1-1. You don't figure the A's to be stealing here. Let's take a look at the strike to Hatteberg.
Really good curveball. And that's a kind of curveball right there that will really put some doubt in a hitter's mind, especially a left-hander. This makes him more vulnerable to both the sinker fastball and the four-seam fastball right there that he got in on. Just enough of a difference in speed and vision location. That curveball coming up and down, up first and then down. And pitching is all about in and out, back and forth. The in and out obviously being corner to corner, and the back and forth I'm referring to speed. Right. It's hard and then you back off the hard, and it's hard and you back off the hard.
1-2 to Hatteberg. Blocked by Pierzynski nicely. 2-2.
That's the whole cat and mouse game between a pitcher and a hitter, is trying to get the hitter to speed up and be in a hurry so that he's vulnerable to more spots in the zone or different speeds than what he's in a hurry to hit.
Two and 2 to Hatteberg, with Burns at first and 2 away. And now full count with Chavez on deck. So the runner at first will get an early start. Minkiewicz, for the time being anyway, will hold the runner.
This is a big pitch for Kenny Rogers. He's got Chavez on deck. Hatteberg thinks he's going to get a real good pitch to hit here because Chavez is on deck, and he can handle a pitch to hit. It's going to take a tough pitch to get him.
Inning started with a couple of quick foul ball outs to Corey Koski. And Burns with his single has prolonged matters here in the 6th inning. Little bouncer foul, and Burns, because of Rogers' outstanding move to first, didn't get much of a jump at all on the 3-2 pitch. It's tough. You'd like to get that early start, because if Hatteberg hits a double, you'd like to be able to score the tying run. You can see Burns shaking his head like I had no idea where he was going.
Well, he made a little hop. Yeah, he made a little hop off there. I don't know if he tried to draw a balk there or what that was all about, but I think that messed himself up more than Kenny Rogers. I think he got out there in no man's land, then had to come back and had both his weight and his mental weight going back to the bag.
Into right field, Burns round second. He's on his way to third. The throw coming through, and it's way off line. Koski with a nice job fielding the one-hop throw from Moore. And a pair of 2-out hits. Good at bat for Hatteberg, and Chavez will have his chance here in the sixth. Thursday, the Twins return to the field, and they host the Western Division leading Seattle Mariners. Roy Smalley will join me again on the booth. The Twins and Mariners Thursday night coverage begins with a Twins ticket at 6:30 right here on Fox Sports Net. So now first and third with 2 away, and Chavez the hitter. Hit the ball twice to Christian Guzman, once on a line, once on a little pop-up. Closest, largest threat that the A's have had to scoring a run comes with 2 outs here this inning, and Chavez takes a strike.
This is where you want another example of that Kenny Rogers battling ability to give up hits in an inning but no runs.
Now, are you superstitious? Are you of the belief that announcers can talk about something and then that would jinx the situation on the field? Okay.
I am not superstitious in that way.
Oh, I told you this before the game, and I did a little research. Kenny Rogers, all the innings he's pitched now for the Minnesota Twins, only once has he pitched an inning where he's given up more than 2 runs. So he's pitched, 60, in excess of 60 innings. Fouled off the leg of Chavez, and it's 1-2. So he's pitched 5 2/3 innings here tonight, so that's 61 1/3 innings, and only once has an opposing team scored more than 2 runs. That's when Kansas City scored 4 against him earlier in April. So we talk about damage control, and for the most part in situations like this he's been able to stay out of the big inning.
And we talked about it earlier, that I think it's a great example to the younger pitchers on the Twins staff that they see what can happen when you don't walk people and you allow your defense to be as good as they are, and you throw quality pitches that aren't perfect but they're around the plate so guys are swinging the bat. They're going to get some hits. Big league hitters are going to get some hits, but you force them to get a whole bunch in 1 inning.
1-2 to Chavez, and another bouncer off the plate. Well, so far in 11 2/3 innings of work against the Oakland A's, Kenny Rogers has given up 13 hits, but they've all been singles. And Ron Gardenhire hoping he can get Chavez here and get the Twins off the field.
Well, I told you I wasn't superstitious, but you're starting to make me a little nervous here with Chavez ability to hit the ball at the ballpark. Let's stop it.
You going to blame me?
No, I'm not. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to make a real good pitch right here.
Fouled away. Still 1-2. Chavez, who many people think will be the next great left-handed slugger in the Bay Area. Whenever Barry Bonds can't do it anymore, this guy on the other side of the Bay is poised, perhaps, to join Bonds in the 500 home run club. That's a long ways away, but my goodness, he's off to a great start. 1-2 from Rogers to Chavez. Got it, baby. Chavez throws the bat away. A scoreless sixth. You're watching Twins baseball on Fox Sports Net. Your home for the Twins.
Don't bother me when I'm trying to read the disclaimer here. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins. I can't circle and read at the same time.
Okay.
I didn't think I could, but
Foul
I did.
Back. Well, by the way, this is the middle part of the ball game. Twins hitting in the bottom of the sixth. This is your opportunity to say hello to anybody on TV that you might want to say hello to.
Well, that's pretty fun. I've got people that may be watching this game through cyberspace or satellite satellite connection somehow.
First of all, Bert.
Well, yeah, we know Bert's watching, but I've already said hello to Bert.
Rivas pops it foul and out of play.
But my uncle, Gene Mock, is out in Rancho Mirage, California. He plays golf.
I was going to say, you realize it's only 6:30 out there.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. No. He's done. He's been done for a long time, and now he's got 9 or 10 games on his dish out there that he watches baseball the rest of the time.
Little bouncer to second, gobbled up by Ellis. One away.
On the off chance that he can find this broadcast out there in the satellite waves someplace. Gene, hi. I hope you're watching and listening, and anything I know about, most of the things I know about this game I learned from you, so I do appreciate that.
I think there are a lot of Twins fans that would say essentially the same thing. He was a great teacher of the game, and he was one of the best managers in Twins history. He didn't have the success of, say, a Tom Kelly, but he didn't have the, he didn't have all the tools that he would have liked. Yep.
Didn't have the horses, but he was the best I ever saw. I played for 15 managers in 13 years in the major leagues. And
wow, you went through a lot of them.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of, looking back on it, I'm wondering how responsible I was for that.
1-1 to Jacques Jones. He's 0 for 2 tonight against Barry Zito. The Twins have just one hit, but it ended up in the upper deck. That's why they lead 1-0. That might be a hit. Foul, twisting down the left field line.
And I also, Dick, called my son Jeffrey today, who is a senior at the University of San Diego.
Okay.
I actually called him and got his roommate, Aaron, and told them that if they can find this out there in San Diego anywhere, they ought to be tuning in.
Fastball just missed the corner, 2-2.
Of course, his roommate Aaron's comment was classic for college kids. He said, "Oh, Mr. Smalley, that's really cool. You gave us another reason for a party."
And Jones strikes out, 2 away in the 6th. And again, Mr. Smalley. See,
Mr. Smalley. Yeah, that's what it is. Well, again, here's the reason why you don't want to take Barry Zito into a 2-strike count. Because that pitch cannot be hit by left-hander. I don't care who you are. That cannot be hit. That is a nasty, nasty breaking.
2 down. Here's Christian Guzman.
Swing.
He gets the curve. Guzman with a ground ball to short and a strikeout. And there's strike 2.
I have to say to Twins fans, I mean, we're sitting here, it's a privilege to watch these guys pitch. And I don't know if anybody doesn't like a 1-0 game for lack of excitement, but to me, pitch by pitch in a game like this, watching the caliber of these guys go at it is very exciting. I just really, really enjoy it. Because you can see right there, he's deciding where he's going to get him out. He threw him 2 great curveballs to start him off 0-2. Now he goes away. Now he backs it. Now he backs him away. He had no thought about getting him out on those 2 pitches. Now he's going to come back and get him right here. That's where he wanted him, right there.
Well, Zito has a strong bottom of the 6th inning, but we head to the 7th. The Twins taking that one hit so far, taking it to the bank.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
You thought your dental plan was bad. There's our Pepsi fan of the game with the Billy Bob teeth. Those might be Bert's teeth. And Twins leading 1-0. And we had a lot of candidates for our fan of the game tonight, including a couple out there in the Hawaiian shirts. Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, Willie Nelson.
Well, we've got an issue here.
Well, one of the umpires wants to quit.
Apparently, Barry Zito has punched a pretty good hole in front of the rubber, his landing foot, and Kenny Rogers noticed it right away. So maybe with the big curveball and added a little wear and tear to the mound. I think Kenny Rogers wants a little mound keeping done for him.
I think Ron Gardenhire is thinking that Barry Zito's punched a few holes in the bats.
Well, the Twins have gained at least a split in their last 8 series.
Let's see that guy, Dick. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let's see that guy with the teeth again. I got to tell you a great New York story.
Okay.
Bronx Zoo story. You saw that guy with the
our fan of the game.
Our fan of the game with the teeth. Is that guy going to fix the mound or his teeth? Oh, okay. Well, that guy. Honest to goodness, there was a guy out down the left field line in Yankee Stadium one time when I went in there with the Twins. And we were on third base side of the dugout was on third base side. So we'd go down left field and we'd run, stretch, and loosen up while the Yankees were taking batting practice. Well, the fans were in the ballpark. And this guy had teeth that looked like that, only they were real. And Keith Atherton, the relief pitcher in Iowa Country, were running back and forth. We'd run down to center field and walk back to the left field foul. Run down. Well, this guy was on me like you can't believe. He was screaming and yelling at me and calling me. Looked just like that, only maybe a fewer teeth. And I got to tell you, he was yelling and cursing and screaming at me. And finally, after taking about 5 or 8 minutes of this abuse, we're walking back toward him, and he's screaming louder. And Country Atherton says to me, "Smalls, look at that guy. Looks like his tongue is in jail." That was the best line I've ever, I think the best spontaneous line I've ever heard.
Now Kenny Rogers getting the mound more to his liking.
Not to say that all the Yankee fans
right.
are like, I don't, don't email me, please. This is, I only do this 3 times a year.
See, the Twins over the last 8 series have series wins in all of them except for the 4-game split series with the Kansas City Royals. The A's had a streak like that. They had won 8 straight series, and they went to Cleveland, and it took a 5-run 9th inning to keep them from being swept by the Indians. So this game, as well as things are going now for the Twins, they need to look only in the other dugout to see how quickly things can turn around. And the A's took 2 out of 3 from the Royals, but they were struggling as the Twins started the series last week. And you can see in the comparison between Zito and Rogers that Rogers has pitched very well. Zito just made the one mistake, or Corey Koski finally got the pitch that he wanted. Well, now on a little added delay, and now Tejada stands in to start the 7th.
If we have any more delays, you want me to tell you more New York stories, just let me know.
Tejada, Durazo, and Hernandez to face Rogers here. Strike on the inside corner. Tejada's 0 for 2. Hit the ball hard his last time up to Torrey Hunter. Splintered bat and a foul over the Oakland bullpen. All right, let's get your take on this, because we see this more and more with every year. Bats that don't just break, they splinter dangerously, with the barrel splintered end hurling out towards the field of play, or worse, into the stands. Why?
I'm not sure, Dick. I would say that the reason, the sensible reason, would be the wood's not as good. But I don't think that's the case. I was talking with, again, some of the hitters and Scott Alger, the hitting coach for the Twins, and they've got maple wood that they're using now, which is harder. I think the balls are going farther because of because of that. It's kind of like golf. The technology is getting better, not worse.
Inside, and it's 1-2.
So I think part of the reason is the guys, the way they've gotten so strong. And the bats that they tend to like, they like them heavy, and a lot of the weight up in the big end of the bat, and the handles are thinner relative to the weight in the barrel. And I think if you don't hit them just exactly right, that's the result.
Scalded, foul, 1-2. Well, Wayne Hadaway, the Twins vice president of team morale, who was traveling with the team the last 2 years, he discussed it at length with Bert and I the other day. And he came up with the theory. He said, you know, the weight of the bat now is concentrated in the barrel.
Right.
Handles are so thin. He says it's almost like hitters are going up there with a fungo bat.
Well, that's well said. That was kind of my point.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a lot of torque being generated by these strong guys, and they're so conscious about the kind of wood they get in the big end of the bat and how heavy and solid they want it, that, you know, the bat manufacturers they can only do what they do with the dimensions.
2-2 to Hada, and right over the bag, a fair ball, and it'll be the first extra base hit allowed by Kenny Rogers against the A's this year. A leadoff double for Tejada, and they're back on the boards with a threat. Hit a couple balls hard in that at bat.
Just fair. Went over the base, fair territory, bounce foul. That's a fair ball. The ball was scalded past Corey. Didn't have a chance down there. Why they call it the hot corner, Dick.
So the tying run at second. Nobody out, and Durazo with one of the 5 Oakland hits. A single his first time up. Rogers caught him looking in his second at bat. Inside a ball.
Tejada's had 2 good at bats tonight, and I hope for his sake it is the start of him being the player and the hitter that he is. I just hope that he really gets into it on Thursday.
He can go 10 for 12 in the Kansas City series if he wants.
Exactly.
Royals getting thumped tonight. White Sox have already lost, so the door's open for the Twins to perhaps pick up a game on their 2 closest pursuers with a win tonight.
What I liked about Tejada's at bats was early in the season he was jumpy. He was trying to hit everything a long way to left field and trying to pull everything. He got jammed in the first inning. He was obviously not trying to pull it, trying to go back the other way, and got jammed. He got jammed on foul balls, but
2-1.
But then lined to center field, not to left, not to the third baseman, lined to center. So he was staying with his program, trying to get back in the middle of the field. Broken bat that time on a ball in on him, and then finally just his quickness reacted to a pitch and whipped it down the left field line. That's if you're Thad Bosley, the hitting coach for the Oakland A's, you got to be really happy with the fact that he is staying with his program and hitting the ball hit hard all over the field now. And that's a good sign for them and for him.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. Durazo's getting a lot of breaking balls, although the strike 3 call that struck him out in the 5th was on a fastball in the inside part of the plate.
And this is an interesting way to pitch a left-handed hitter who's trying to pull the ball over the right side to get the runner over. You would think that a breaking ball would be the pitch you wouldn't want to throw because it would be slower and easier for a left-hander to pull. Crafty left-hander that Kenny Rogers is, he throws it out of the strike zone, and the hitter sees it, says, oh, that's a pitch, that's a gift. Tries to hit it, but it's outside the zone and can't. It kind of surprises him because he didn't think he's going to get that breaking ball, and then he throws it where he can't hit it anyway. Smart pitcher.
See what Durazo gets here with 2 strikes and a runner at second. Full count. Ramon Hernandez on deck.
As hard as the hitter is trying to get the guy over, just hit the ball on the ground to right field and get him over to third, the pitcher is trying equally hard to not let him do that. But now the count goes to 3-2. What Kenny's thinking here is, I got to get an out here. Back to your point about how he pitches out away from big innings. If he worries too much about just trying to keep the guy from getting to third with 1 out, he could end up giving up 2 or 3 hits. He just needs to get 1 out at a time. If they tie the game, they tie the game. He's still pitching well.
Full count to Durazo. Not yet. Durazo 34 strikeouts and 173 at bats, and if Gardenhire has his way, Rogers will get him again here in the 7th. To Durazo.
Yes.
Got him with the the same pitch he struck him out with in the 5th.
And that was all set up by those breaking balls. He's worried about waiting on the curveball, and then he zips a little sinker right on the corner. It's a perfect pitch.
The odds are in your favor on Thursday with the Minnesota State Lottery's Powerball pack. You can get 2 lower general admission tickets, 2 Hormel hot dogs, and 2 soft drinks, all for only $28. You can take advantage of the Powerball pack Thursday against Seattle. It's also Asian American Heritage Night. So call the charge lines for tickets. That's deep to left. And Hernandez has put the A's in front with a home run. So a big strikeout, or so we thought. Then on the very next pitch, Hernandez turns the game around.
Well, it's a tough time to come right in the middle of the plate with one, but that's where it was. It wasn't the sinker, it was the four-seamer, and that one to right-handers, you've got to get way inside. It just stayed right in the middle of the plate.
2-1 Oakland. Okay. One and 0 to Mark Ellis. Ellis with a foul out to Pierzynski and a fly to center. Now to right field. Moore retreating on the edge of the track, makes the catch for out number 2. 2 down. Terrence Long to the plate, or to the plate with LaTroy Hawkins warming up in the bullpen.
The right fielder, Terrence Long.
Long with a ground ball to first and a foul out to third. Fastballs up high, ball 1. Well, this is going to go down to the last few innings here, as most good baseball games do. The home run ball finally thrown back by the fan in left field, so a little bit of a break in the action. See, I'd have a tough time doing that. If I was in left field and somebody hit a home run and I caught it, I think I'd want to keep it as a keepsake.
You know, the symbolism is nice. I agree with you. But it'd be hard to throw that thing back. I mean, you come out to a ball game, get a souvenir.
Even if it was for the other team, you know, if I went to a Twins Senators game and Frank Howard hit a home run, I'd want to keep that. I'd have to probably dig it out of my chest the way he hit him. 1 and 1. Oh, 1 and 1 to Terrence Long, and now 2 and 1.
I remember playing shortstop when Big Frank was still in the league. When I first came in, I was playing the shortstop, and it felt like I was playing shortstop on a Little League field. He'd hit the ball so hard. He and Richie Allen hit the ball harder than anybody else.
Really?
Winfield hit it hard. Baylor hit it hard. But of course, now the guys hit it hard too. The ball's juiced a little bit, and the guys are strong. But
Guzman snares the line drive off the shoe tops, and the inning's over. First 2 extra base hits for the A's, and the first 2 runs. It's 2-1. There we go. 2-1. Oakland scoring a couple of runs on a home run. In fact, the 2 home runs, the only 2 big hits of the game. There haven't been many hits of any kind in tonight's game.
2 really good left-handers pitching outstanding games. Each of them left 2 fastballs in the middle of the plate to pretty good hitters, and they both went deep. That's it.
Well, the Twins took the first lead of the game. Corey Koskian, the only hit so far for the Twins.
And one of the few fastballs in the middle of the plate Zito's thrown, and the Twins have been able to hit. Koski way back, and then Kenny Rogers, really about the only bad pitch he's made today. Right in the middle of the plate, and it's 2-1.
Game with a man aboard, so the A's now in front. Koski leads off the 7th for the Twins. He's just taken ball 1 from Zito. Zito's walked a couple. Fouled away 1-1. The outs have come on relatively routine plays as we look at the Jeep game summary. 6 hits for the A's, 4 singles, a double, and a home run. And Barry Zito has been very, very good tonight. And so has Kenny Rogers. 1-1 from Zito to Koski. Be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Twins here in the 7th. Swing and a foul. Again, Corey, for whatever reason, has had some good swings against Zito. 7 hits and 16 at bats, and now a home run. So he's maybe the ideal guy to have up there. Well, you never like to be up there against this guy with 2 strikes on you. Breaking ball drops inside, and it's 2-2.
Watching Corey approach the ball when Zito delivers, it just looks like he sees the ball pretty well against Zito, and I don't think that a lot of guys can say that, but he just seems to be on it.
Swings through the breaking ball. Zito now has struck out 3 men in a row. That's the first out of the 7th inning.
He actually had a pretty good swing at dead ball. He was on that. It's just the movement of this pitch is just too hard to measure. Corey actually wasn't fooled by the speed. We didn't pull out on the ball starting toward his head. Stayed right in on it. Just a tough pitch.
Here's Matthew LeCroy on the outside corner. A foul out and a strikeout. Zito struck out 9 so far tonight. And now 0-2.
I saw Zito pitch last year in the playoffs, and I've seen him on television this year, and this is the most impressive that I've seen. He has terrific command of all 3 of his pitches. And when I say command, I mean he's throwing the ball with good stuff. He throws 88 or 89, which is about what he throws. He's throwing it on the corners. He's staying out of the middle of the plate, and he's dropping that curveball in there.
On the inside corner, a called 3rd strike to LeCroy. 2 down. Fox Sports Net introduces 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The only show taking you inside the world of extreme sports every weeknight. Experts bring you the entire world of extreme sports all in one place, with breaking news, event highlights, and insider features that you won't find anywhere else. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 weeknights at 5:30 and 10:30 on Fox Sports Net. And now strike 1 to Torrey Hunter.
Threw him a changeup, Dick. Can you believe it?
He wasn't expecting it.
He was not expecting it. Nor were we.
High fly. It's high enough. Is it deep enough? No. Right on the warning track. The catch made by Pyatt. Hunter almost ties it up. Barry Zito with a deep breath as he leaves the mound in the 7th. There you go.
I'd be happy to.
There you go. Big cut number 5, meaning Michael Kadire, who's doing well at AAA, but
that wasn't.
That wasn't number 5. That didn't mean you.
Oh.
Here's a Menards pitching change with LaTroy Hawkins, hoping to pick up win number 5 tonight, hoping to get the A's out quickly here in the 8th inning. He picked up win number 4 when he relieved Kenny Rogers last week in Oakland. There's strike 1. It'll be Pyatt, Burns, and Hatterberg. You really thought that that number 5 sign was intended for you?
You know, you can dream, can't you?
Yeah. Now, were you number 5 both times with the Twins?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My buddy Jim Wiesner saved it for me. Actually, our friend Houston Jimenez wore it in my absence, and then it was suggested when I got traded back here in '85. It was suggested that maybe he ought to offer to give it back, which was a nice thing by everybody concerned.
1-1 to Pyatt. The tapper foul. Pyatt doesn't get a chance to play much for Oakland. J.C. Romero warming up in the Twins pen. Pyatt with a total this year of 32 at bats coming into the game. We told the story in Oakland. He's out of options. The A's don't want to risk losing his talents to another club by sending him down to the minor leagues.
I mentioned this to Clay Matvick in the opening, Dick, where how difficult this is for opposing hitters in opposition to Twins to see a starter like Kenny Rogers, and there are several starters that throw 88 miles an hour. I mean, Brad Radke and Rick Reed and Kenny Rogers, and Then they get into the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, and you see Latroy, who throws 95, and J.C. Romero throws 95, and you got a chance to see, you know, some guys that can really come in and gas it. That gets your attention. It's a difficult transition to make, of trying to stay back and hit the ball the opposite field to fight off the slow stuff, and then gear it up against, you know, against that.
Mid-90s fastball, a strikeout of Hyatt for the first out of the 8th inning.
You know, you've seen 88 tops, and now all of a sudden you see that ball. That's an overmatch right there. Latroy's got that nice smooth delivery. It looks like he's just going to throw batting practice, and the ball's up there in about 0.4 of a second.
One down, and here's Eric Burns. Delivered a 2-out single in the 6th, got as far as third base. Check swing, no swing. 1-0.
J.C. Romero is warming up in the Twins bullpen, and I'm wondering if we might see him even in this inning against the left-hand hitters that are coming up for Oakland.
Well, chances have just increased.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see him there.
And Burns runs to second with a 1-out double. So here comes Ron Gardenhire to make a pitching change after the 1-out double by Burns.
Second fisted hit for Eric Burns. Pretty good piece of hitting, actually.
So Hawkins gets one man, the other man doubles, and now J.C. Romero will come in the 8th. 2-1, the A's with the lead on the Twins, trying to add another run here in the 8th. J.C. Romero trying to stymie this 1-out Oakland rally. Romero into the ballgame for the 22nd time. He's yet to pick up a win or a loss. Control's been the biggest issue for J.C., but that's improved a bit over the last couple of weeks.
The reason I thought we might see J.C. this inning, even had Latroy gotten Burns out, he's been very, very successful against Oakland. Oakland, pretty anemic batting average with all the left-handers still in the lineup for Oakland, especially. Pretty good chance of seeing Romero in this game.
Fastball at the knees, strike. Romero, one of those guys where apparently it's clicked in. His pitching coach, Rick Anderson, who does such a great job with the Twins, has said, hey, look, just aim for the middle of the plate. Your ball moves so much that if you aim for the middle, it's bound to hit a corner someplace. And what has happened for what they say JC has been trying to do is to maybe be a little too fine, work the inside corner, outside corner, and then have the ball drift off the plate, and that's why he's had so many walks.
That's a great point. He throws 92, 93, sometimes 94 miles an hour with movement. And any big league hitter will tell you that it's the movement that's the toughest to hit and not the speed. But when you throw 92 or 93 with movement, you got to challenge the absolute middle of the zone. I know I say stay out of the middle, but he can't. If he throws it middle, it won't stay there.
That's down the line, and it's a hit that'll score another run into the corner. Hatteberg with an extra base hit, and back-to-back doubles here in the 8th, make it a 2-run Oakland lead.
Boy, what a great swing by Hatteberg there. Actually, a pretty good pitch. Romero came in on him, and he just kind of fought it off. That's a great piece of hitting.
So the A's stuck with singles throughout their game with Kenny Rogers last week in Oakland, and through the first 6 innings here now have 4 straight extra base hits. And it's 1-0 to Eric Chavez. 1 for 8 lifetime against J.C. Romero. Johan Santana warming up in the Twins bullpen. Well, the last 2 innings just haven't gone the way the Twins would have preferred, with the leadoff double by Tejada in the 7th. And Hernandez hitting the home run, now a pair of doubles against the Twins bullpen. Twins with the slimmest of leads. How can it be slimmer than the 1 run produced on the only hit that you've gotten? But now the A's in the late innings threatening to put up another crooked number. Here's a pop-up near the Oakland dugout. Pierzynski with the grab, and out number 2. So AJ with a long run and catch at the end, 2 down, and here's Miguel Tejada. Tejada bounced the double over the bag to start the 7th inning, and by inning's end the A's had their first lead.
This is not the way that a typical Twins bullpen outing would go, or has gone for quite some time. All of the guys having been very successful lately. Romero probably threw a pitch to Hatterberg in the one place that he could handle it, and the one place where the ball wouldn't move a lot, speaking of his movement on the ball, which was up and in.
Just the 9th intentional walk issued by the Twins this year. It makes all the sense in the world with another left-handed hitter in Durazo due up. White Sox have already lost. Looks like the Royals are going to lose, so all that's at stake here is another game lead for the Twins. And Romero, of course, wants to get Durazo and see what the Twins can do offensively in the last 2 innings. Well, the Twins are on pitcher number 3. If they are going to do anything along the lines of tying this game up, they in all likelihood are going to have to do it against Barry Zito, because he looks awfully strong. Durazo with a single and a pair of strikeouts. And now that fastball, instead of coming in 84, 86, a sinking fastball from Kenny Rogers comes in the low 90s.
Yeah, that's really, really tough. And again, up will be his biggest problem, but if he throws it down there, it's going to be awful tough.
And it used to be that the pitchers that had the best stuff, the best arm strength, if you will, who threw the hardest, were your starting pitchers. But now, I mean, you pointed it out with, Brad Radke can throw 90, 91 miles per hour, but more and more teams seem to want to have the power arms in their bullpen.
A lot of that has been a result of people wanting the power arms to be their starting pitchers, and having the power arms at a certain pitcher just not be able to go 5, 6, 7 innings.
Yeah.
They, and Dave Leggetti was a great example of that. Ended up being a pretty good closer. He started out as a power starting pitcher. They really wanted him to be a starter, and he'd be a world beater for 5 innings and then lose it in 6th and 7th.
1 and 2 to Durazo. A little looping fly ball right at Dustin Moore. So Romero gives up an RBI double, but then gets the next 2 outs. It's 3-1 Oakland.
It's a zip. You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Pepsi, the joy of Pepsi. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. At the Dome, 3-1 Oakland with the lead. The Twins scored the first run, but now in the late innings, Oakland has put across 3 to take the lead. Eric Burns has moved from center field over to left. Doug Minkiewicz fouls the first pitch back. And Chris Singleton out in center field. Ken Maka going with his best defensive lineup. Now that Barry Zito has a 2-run lead. 1 strike to Minkiewicz. Roller toward the hole, stopped by Ellis, and he throws him out. Good play by Mark Ellis. in short right field, one away. Let's go to Clay Matvick.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Dustin Moore coming up now, and he's played every game in May, and he's upped his average almost 200 points over the last month. Asked Ron Gardenhire if Dustin is hitting because he's playing more because he's hitting, and he said it's all about the playing time, because even during Moore's poor April, Gardy knew he'd eventually hit, but at-bats were tight. Kadire got sent down, and then Kelty got hurt, so the ABs came, and Dustin agreed. He said he just needed more at-bats. Gardy also told me before the game, Roy, that you belong on the cover of GQ.
I'm not sure what Gardy'd know about that.
You don't think he subscribes? Well, Moore at the plate with a 1-1 count.
He's one of my favorite guys. He had the best line of the day. He pulled a hamstring in the dugout reaching for a drink of water. And he said, yeah, I've got a hamstring pull, and I'm listed as day-to-day. Of course, I'm day-to-day every day. I thought that was wonderful.
1-2 to Dustin Moore. To right field, spanked pretty good. Long going back, and it's off the wall. Moore to second, and the Twins get hit number 2. Both of them for extra bases.
Dustin Moore waiting on the ball, letting it get back in the plate, driving it to right field. A great way to hit Barry Zito. And we got something going here in the 8th.
A.J. Pierzynski will look for his first hit against Barry Zito in 5 at-bats lifetime. Zito was the starter and winner in Game 3 of the playoff series here last fall. Beat Rick Reed in the game. Then the A's went back, or had 2 chances to clinch the division series. Game 4 here, and then Game 5 in Oakland. Of course, the Twins won both of those games. Pierzynski with a chance to tie it up with one swing of the bat. Takes a breaking ball up high. If nothing else, the double by Moore has gotten the Oakland bullpen activated. Lifted foul over the...
I would imagine Rincon's down there.
Only lefty in the bullpen now is Ricardo Rincon. Micah Bowie, who was out there, is injured with an elbow problem. Keith Folk, the closer, warming up down there as well. 10 strikeouts for Zito and just 2 hits. The upper deck home run by Koski and the double now by Moore. Pierzynski will take first base. Clearly not what Zito had in mind. He's the tying run. You don't want him on base.
No, that was the fans are reacting to all the silliness that was going on out in Oakland around AJ. But he certainly wasn't trying to put the tying run on first base.
So now Bobby Kelty will hit for Rivas.
I think the thing that's got to concern Ken Maka over in the Oakland dugout right now is the location that Zito's pitches have been all of a sudden. High curveballs to present. He's got a left-hander, a chance to get a left-hander out. And he's throwing he left a curveball high and then hit him with a fastball. I mean, that's severe wildness for a guy of Barry Zito's caliber and the way he's pitched today. Managers will watch that kind of thing. They'll watch more about location than they will about how other hitters are hitting the ball. If all of a sudden the pitcher goes drastically against what he's been doing, and Zito's been throwing strikes and throwing strikes and throwing strikes, now all of a sudden he's high with a breaking ball and hits Pierzynski, that the bells start going off, the alarm bells in the manager's mind.
103 pitches for Zito. You look at Rick Peterson, the pitching coach. A couple of factors converging here. Kelty has had phenomenal success hitting right-handed. 371 with 5 home runs in just 35 at bats. Yet he's 0 for 8 lifetime against Barry Zito. Has walked a couple of times. A threat for the Twins here in the 8th. Low, ball one. And the reason he walks is he has, I think, assumed the throne of the Twins' most patient hitter. Just doesn't seem to swing at anything outside the box.
There's another indication right there of what Zito thinks of his stuff all of a sudden. We haven't seen too many changeups at all the whole game, and all of a sudden now 2 in a row to a pinch hitter. That would indicate to me that he doesn't think a lot of his fastball right now.
Kelty drives it deep down the line, but foul. Oh man, was he waiting for that one? Oh my.
That'll bring the changeup back.
Oh.
Well, Kelty come off the bench and look at 2 changeups and then rips a fastball just a little bit out in front.
That's got the fans now to their feet. 2-1 to Kelty. Pick off to second, but Moore gets back.
That was almost a balk. You can turn around and go to second base that way, but he almost hesitated long enough before he made his turn. This is kind of funky. I'd like to see this again.
2-1 to Kelty. And now 2-2.
Another changeup. Kielty's talking to himself. He said, "You got the best curveball in the world since Bert Blyleven. You've been throwing everybody else fastballs, and I see 3 changeups in 4 pitches coming off the bench."
Pitching coach came to the mound. Maybe that's the advice given by Rick Peterson. 2-2 to Kelty. 3-2 with Jock Jones on deck.
Here's a time where Bobby's got to be very, very patient. I hope you're right, Dick, about his patience and his calm at the plate, because Zito's got as good a chance of throwing him a changeup here in this fastball count. Bobby can't get too excited about the fastball because he's liable to get anything in this situation.
Bounced foul. Got a fastball.
He did get a fastball. Now he's seen 4 changeups and 2 fastballs. The 2 fastballs have been ripped. He's not really excited about throwing him another one. I guarantee you that.
We've seen the curve this inning stay up out of the strike.
Well, he's obviously afraid of his curveball a little bit right now. For some reason, he went absolutely away from that and started throwing changeup.
Another 3-2 to Kelty. Thinking that the Twins might send the runners here.
There's no percentage in that 2 runs down. They'll let Bobby swing the bat.
Deep to left.
There it is.
Up and gone. Bobby Kelty delivers. What an at-bat for Bobby Kelty.
That's one of the best at-bats I've seen, Dick, in a long, long, long time. All those changeups, gets another fastball, and he's on it. He knew it the minute he hit it.
4-3 Minnesota.
I can't begin to tell you what a good piece of hitting that was. Coming off the bench against a guy, watching him all game throwing breaking balls and fastballs.
And Jones takes 2 fastballs that burn the outside corner.
You called it, Dick. What a wonderfully patient, confident at bat that was.
Now a bouncer to Tejada, barehanding and throwing. What a nice play by the Oakland shortstop for out number 2.
You think this isn't good baseball? Holy cow.
Twins led by 1, they trailed by 1, they trailed by 2, now they lead by 1. And if you think this 9th inning is going to go easily,
And then you got shortstops making plays like this. This is fun.
Curve on the outside corner, and now he throws it for a strike.
He's punished Christian Guzman today. I don't know what Guzman did to him, but he's absolutely punished him with breaking balls and different things. And he never threw one to Bobby Kelty. I don't understand it.
Outside. Guzman just 1 for 13 lifetime now against Zito with 4 strikeouts, counting the 2 tonight. Pitch counts up by today's standards. 1-2. Eddie Guardado warmed up. He's been handed at least a 1-run lead for the 9th inning. Zito with a nice play to retire Guzman. One of the greatest at bats of the first 2 months of the year. Bobby Kelty's 3-run home run has put the Twins in front. Remember to stop by your neighborhood Applebee's to find out how you can eat your way to a free Twins ticket. And don't miss a special appearance tomorrow night by Doug Minkiewicz at the new Block E Applebee's in downtown Minneapolis. Doug and TC will be appearing from 5:30 to 7 tomorrow night. How many Oakland, Minnesota games have come to this over the years? A 1-run lead to the 9th inning. The closer in the ball game, Eddie Guardado, looking for save number 14. He'll face Ramon Hernandez and then Mark Ellis and then Terrence Long. Ball 1 to Hernandez, who jacked a home run to left with a man aboard to give Oakland its first lead. Denny Hocking in the game at second base for Rivas. Foul back, 1-1. Not a playoff game, for heaven's sakes. It's just the end of May, but it sure feels like something wonderful to watch, doesn't it? From both sides.
They're all playoff games between these two teams.
1-1 from Guardado to Hernandez. Two and one.
And everybody on both benches knows it too. Everybody. They know that they're in a war. These two teams get out on the field, and this is the way this game's going to be.
Twins with more runs than hits. And now 3-1. Guardado falling behind Hernandez. His nemesis Ellis on deck.
And this is not the way, obviously, Eddie doesn't want to start 3-1, but that's not good for Eddie, too. That's not the way he pitches. Eddie, when he's sharp, is strike, strike, strike. He'll try to get himself back on track here real quickly.
There's the outside corner and a full count. To Hernandez. Driven hard but foul. As good as these two teams are that the Twins will play, Oakland and Seattle, neither team has gotten much of any production from their benches. We pointed that out in the Seattle series. Now, pinch hitters for Oakland this year are 3 for 29. No home runs and 2 runs batted in.
Well, for the most part, the Oakland team is the team that starts on the field. I mean, that's who their players are.
Struck him out, 1 away.
And he just throws it where he can't catch up to it. A little bit high, a little bit outside. And that's a little bit of a hole for Hernandez.
Eddie has done this many times before. He's had 3 ball counts, yet he's walked just 2 men this year. Well, here he is, Mark Ellis against Eddie Guardado in a 1-run ball game. It was Ellis who hit the 3-run home run in Game 5 of the playoff series in Oakland last year that drew the A's within 1, and then it was Ellis in a 2-run ball game hit a solo home run against Guardado Thursday in Oakland. 1-1.
So it's a good thing it's not a 2-run lead.
So he's due to make an out. Yes. And now 2-1. Ellis has faced Guardado 3 times. Has 2 hits. They've both been home runs. 2-1. Ellis with a couple of outfield flies and a foul pop so far tonight. 2-2. Moments like what we've experienced here, the Kelty home run, can make 17,000 sound like 37,000. 2-2 to Ellis. And another full count with Terrence Long scheduled to hit on deck. Ron Gant, the veteran, available as a pinch hitter should Ken Maka opt to go that way. Another 3-2 from Guardado. Another strikeout. 2 away.
Here's a fastball in the same spot it was to Hernandez. Up and out over the plate. Tough pitch to hit when you're throwing a 93.
You know by now that the chant is Eddie. Long will hit. The last hope for the A's. Koski chasing, and the Twins win it. In dramatic fashion, maybe their most dramatic win of the year. You sit there for 2 hours and 20 minutes and you watch, and you watch, and you watch, and maybe you learn something along the way. Our 92 KQRS player of the game, Bobby Kelty, in his pinch hit 3-run homer. Also offered up our Chrysler play of the game.
And here it is, a fastball in the middle of the plate that he just launches. It looked like a 3-wood. And what a great at bat it was. He saw 4 changeups, laid off of all of them, fouled off a tough one tough one, and hit a 3-2 fastball to win the game.
Twins' 14th win at home and maybe the most memorable. More in a moment.
Dramatic win for the Twins tonight on Fox Sports Net as they start this 2-game series with the Oakland A's. The Twins get just 3 hits tonight, but 2 very big home runs. Corey Koski had one of them in the 4th. Wow, it felt like a playoff game in here tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was exciting. The fans got into it really well, and Bobby came up through with a dramatic home run, and that was a lot of excitement.
Talk about your home run in the 4th inning. What did you see from Barry Zito? You guys were not hitting him well tonight, but your home run gave you the early lead.
He's throwing a lot of nasty curveballs. He got ahead early in the game. My first at bat, he's throwing all fastballs, and after that, he threw a bunch of pretty good curveballs. And I remember in that at bat, there was some fan yelling behind me. First, he was booing me, and then he's like, "Gosh, you suck." I was like, "Man, you gotta come over here and try to hit this dude. This guy's nasty."
It was nasty.
Yeah.
Bobby Kelty did not see any curveballs in his pinch hit at bat. Resulted in a home run. You a little surprised by that?
I was quite surprised he didn't see any curveballs. I have no idea why, but I'm happy. I'm happy in the result. That was a big home run for Bobby and for us, and it was exciting.
Feel like one of the biggest wins for this team this year?
Well, I don't know. Anytime you win a game, it's it's a big win. But it was just exciting to do this in front of a home crowd, and got the fans into it.
Thanks for hanging around, Corey. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Glenn.
Corey Koski joining us down here. Big win for the Twins, guys. Back upstairs to you.
You know, if things weren't going so well for the Twins, you'd look at a home run like that and you say, well, that might be a turning point. But when the Twins have played as well as they have, you wonder what a home run like that might do. But clearly, in my mind, the most dramatic win for the Twins this year.
Well, it didn't seem to get Corey all of that excited. I think I'm more excited than that Corey was showing down there. Just to watch these two teams play with the caliber of ball that they're playing, both on the mound, in the field, and then swinging the bats, culminating with, as I said, one of the best at-bats I've seen in a long, long time by that young switch hitter, Bobby Kielty. And for him to come off the bench and do that in a game like that, I just thought it was spectacular.
Wasn't against some low-grade relief pitcher or anything. This is against Barry Zito, who had the Twins eating out of the palm of his hand all night long.
It was interesting, Dick, that they, we said when he was throwing the high curveballs, he gave up a double Dustin Moore and then hit AJ Pierzynski with a pitch. Something was different. I mean, it really was, and I'm kind of surprised that Kenny Maka didn't go out and grab him, right there, because that's such a dramatic shift for Zito. Now Kielty comes up, and you could tell that something was going on because he didn't throw him any curveballs. Even Corey was saying, we don't know why he wasn't throwing any curveballs, as good as that one is. So something happened. He kind of ran out of gas there, and Bobby took advantage of it. That was just wonderful.
For a guy who can't throw a baseball, I'd say Bobby Kelty's had a pretty big impact on the resurgent Minnesota Twins in the month of May. Now 6 home runs in 36 right-handed at bats. Mark McGwire didn't hit him that often from the right side of the plate. Big win for the Twins tonight, and of course they play again tomorrow afternoon. There's no Twins television tomorrow. At the very least, the Twins have gained a game tonight on Kansas City. They're 3.5 games up on the Royals, and then 7.5 games up on the Chicago White Sox. The Twins will have gained at least a split in this 2-game series. Our next telecast coming up for you Thursday night against the Seattle Mariners. Seattle leading the American League West. They're going to pick up a game on Oakland tonight. Big game for the Twins tonight. Kenny Rogers pitched well, wasn't around to pick up the win. That went to J.C. Romero. But big hits for the Twins, even though there were only 3 of them. And the Twins picked up a win. Our Thursday night, we'll have a Twins ticket previewing the opening game of that 4-game series at 6:30. Game time at 7 o'clock. Hope you enjoy Twins baseball tonight. Our producer, Trevor Fleck. Our director, Dave Higgins. For Clay Matvick and Roy Smalley, Dick Bramer saying goodnight from Minneapolis.